Well, hello, people. It's Sunday, and usually I try to do a Monday through Friday, um, but I have something to share, and so I'm on this morning, Sunday morning, the 20th of October. Cheers. Right quick. Thank you for the feedback on my last piece of music that I shared with you, in my last video. For those of you who might be interested, you can own it. A physical copy on CD. It's on Interlude. My last physical copy of a CD. I have maybe 30 or 40 of these left. I'd love to sell one to you. And you ought to own one. And wouldn't that be nice on a full 12-inch? Wouldn't that look nice as an album release? It sure would. Well, I had a surprise visitor yesterday, Saturday morning. It wasn't a total surprise, though. Something that's talked about in science is there's the idea that humans use such a small fraction of our brain power, and that indeed things that we consider psychic are just aspects of what we're able to do. So what I'm saying is, yesterday morning I'm in here doing my morning routine, and I hear a loud knock at the door. People who know me know I don't like unannounced visitors, And so when I go and answer the door, thinking it could be a cable salesman or some Jesus freaks or something, it's a person from my past who I had basically said, we've gone our separate ways, not in an acrimonious way, but just that I'm done with what we were doing. It was my old friend Alan, who he and his wife moved to the country in Iowa decades ago now. And he and I met in the 70s. We bonded immediately over the band Genesis and Peter Gabriel. I met him at Homer's during a period when I wasn't working at Homer's, but he was. We started a band called Ernst. We got really close. We've had some really intense experiences. But Alan, if you happen to see this, I'll just say it real, honestly, Alan is the sort of person who it's his way or the highway. He's one of those kind of people who wants to conduct all the traffic. And I was fine with that until it became obvious that that's the only way to get along with him. As I slowly came into my own as an adult. I've known him a long time now. I'm his son's godfather. Gabriel is in his 30s. Anyway, it wasn't negative. It wasn't a big surprise. It was kind of like when I said psychic earlier, it's kind of like I've had this feeling or this notion that this was going to happen. That it was someone, from my past was going to show up at the house. And then it did. It's been not a nagging, but it's been a thought or a picture that I will just see every now and then in recent times in my head. And then sure enough, it happened on Saturday. It was good to see Alan. And I invited him in. Long, big hug. He said he was in town because he was doing some other stuff, but he had a gift for me. Last time I ran into Alan out of the blue with his wife at Homer's downtown, maybe within the last year, it was warm. It was unexpected, but it was warm. It was better than the time before where I ran into him out of the blue, and it was like I didn't want to see him. It was still like, ugh, you know what I mean? So it was really good to reconnect, let each other know that we love each other. I let them know I love you, but I needed to go my own way. And as we caught up, it became apparent that I'd made the right decision. It's been years since I've seen Ellen, but it's all about, well, we're all the same. We're all about me, right? All about me. Some people share space better with others. Some people are like ball hogs. It's like, well, when you're with me, it's my way. That's kind of how Ellen is. But we had a nice visit, and he brought me, again, this is connected to the past, because he said he had something for me, went back out to the car and brought in, these are all bootlegs. This is his bootleg collection. He's one of those people who, I'm spiritual, but Ellen is a spiritual person who is looking for guidance. Gurus. I got over that a long time ago. I am the guru. He's still on the path of searching out guru. Steve Hackett. This is all Steve Hackett bootlegs. The other one was Peter Gabriel bootlegs. This is all Genesis bootlegs. And then amongst them were these DVDs of Genesis and Steve Hackett and Peter Gabriel. Some of these I already had in different formats, and several of them, I haven't listened to everything, but I went through them a little bit, and there's several bootlegs I had never heard. Very kind of Ellen. But it did bring up how, we were talking, and so many things that we love are associated with the past as opposed to the present or the future. And there's a big part of our love of Genesis that we shared that is part of the past. And we keep moving forward. So he actually wanted to give me more. And I said, whoa, take a look, Alan. Look at my house. I'm the same. I'm out of room. I don't need more just stuff. If you were going to give me records, even though I don't have any room, I'll gladly take the records, but his records are long gone. That was it was good. It was healing. It was good to reconnect because I love that person. And I don't have any enemies. I have people who think of me probably as enemy, but I don't, because I don't have any reason to. And it was really good. It was just good to connect with Alan. He just he cried, as we hugged, he cried. He missed me and needed me. And that's okay. I love him, but I didn't miss him. So I wanted to share that. That's what got me on here. I'll have a few records sitting out here. I have a gig on Friday. It's not a typical gig. I'm playing at an auction, Bemis's annual auction. And I'll be playing in between the auctions, but very short sets. So it's really funny, but not funny, how after all these years and all this music and all the performing I do, I still have anxiety before the show. Do I have enough? Do I have the right? Is it good enough? It goes on, and then I get my bearings back and realize I'm the artist. They asked me. They like what I do. Chill out. Play what you want to play as an artist instead of thinking about trying to please people. It's a dilemma that I go through when I have shows. So that's going on, and I'm getting ready for it. Choosing, what am I going to play? But besides that, I have played some records. This is sitting out. I started to play it, and then I took it off because this is one of their weaker albums for me. I Can See Your House From Here. Interestingly, I have 2 copies of it. This is a Japanese pressing, no obi. There are good tracks on here, but this is also when, Camel became a pop band. I mean, maybe they were from the beginning, but they were considered progressive rock. Um, a good band, good instrumental stuff. Peter Barden's on keys. But as time went on, they succumbed to the pressure from the record labels. We need a hit. We need to be able to sell records. And so they would have singles, And this it starts with the song Wait, which sounds like a big, it could have been Wang Chung, So I took it off. It didn't strike me. But I love the band Camel. This is out, didn't get played yet, but I was thinking about, anyway, Cabaret Voltaire. Shadow of Fear. Just before Richard Kirk died, they put out 3 final Cabaret Voltaire albums. This was one of them. And this one is really good. Shadow of Fear. There's a track on here that is a repeater for me. It's on purple vinyl, too. Isn't that nice? Cabaret Voltaire is another direct influence on how I do some of my sampling and sound work. Great band. Here's one where the spine has been talking to me saying, well, play me. You haven't played me since you bought me. Sadly true. Really enjoyed this weekend. Kawabata Makoto from Acid Mother's Temple and Amla Cordis live at Namba Bears. So that's part of what got me thinking about this, was that my friend Eviction, who just played in Japan with Keiji Haino, mind-blowing. That woman is larger than life. But she also played at this place, Namba Bears. I had to look it up. So that's a strange name for a place. It's just a little hole-in-the-wall club somewhere, I think in Tokyo. But this is a live recording of them duet. Very drony, but very, very visceral. Very texture. The guitars and the tones have as much texture as they do tone. It's like some things are like almost like a saw, an electric saw, but pleasing. I love that cover too. Acid Mother's Temple back out on the road now. Those guys are road dogs. And then I pulled this. I've talked about this at length in the past. This is a special magical album for me. Magician's Hat, Bo Hansen. I love the cover. The music sounds, that's him playing in his garden, and the music sounds like the picture. This is so ideal to me. I found this import copy a while back. I've had the American since it came out, several copies. This is a real important record to me. I don't try to make music to sound like this, but in many ways, a fair amount of my music is coming from the same point of view, which is I'm trying to share with you my inner view, how I see the world that I want to live in. That's what this album sounds like to me. This is Bo Hansen's world. Magician's Hat. It's just perfect. And it's the kind of world that I want to live in. So I create music for my home atmosphere. That's what I do. Cheers again. Sitting out because I showed it in the group Twilight Ale House by Genesis. This isn't the actual cover, but I just printed it out so I could have a picture sleeve for it. But it's not a Japanese, it's a UK pressing. Something else that got played recently all the way through because I just love it. If I mentioned it already, But bell, a wire. A bell is a cup until it is struck. There's only one dud on this album, which is amazing. How can you be that good, that consistent? But they are. Love the band. And since it was still sitting out, I went ahead and played this. The Cure's first album, Three Imaginary Boys. This is a really strong and outstanding debut album. I still like it quite a bit. The variety of the songwriting on here it shows from the beginning that Robert Smith he's very talented. He's a good songwriter. I love that cover too. 3 imaginary boys, the lamp, the fridge, and the vacuum. What else? A couple more. So then the J's. So I'll just go. Quiet Life by Japan. I still don't like this album, honestly, overall. Overall, I do not like this album. And some people have given me shit about it because I'm a Japan, David Sylvian, members of the band fan. And people say this is when they really started coming to their own. Well, I agree that this is where it starts to form their own personality as opposed to the one before their first albums, Adolescent Sex or whatever. But Quiet Life is a standout on here, and there's several things on here I really actually do not like. I listened to the whole album though. It's like, no, they don't have it together yet for me, for my taste. Excuse me. The next one, Gentlemen Take Polaroids, that one is like, okay, here we go. The other thing I played out of the J section, I found these used years ago, like almost all of them all together. So it's like I bought them. Not that I'm a big fan, but Jane from Germany. They're considered progressive, but they're not very progressive. They're just hard rock. Excuse me. I love this cover, Jane 3. They're on Brain. I've said it many times how much I love the label Brain out of Germany. So I listened to this all the way through, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but their first album is better than this. So I like the first album. This is kind of mediocre to me. I can imagine that if I were a kid and saw them live, and then them being maybe it would be one of the first bands I'd ever see live, it would make an impression. I keep these albums. I have, like I said, about 5 of their albums. They're keepers, but they don't get played much. So that's why I was saying, let me get into some Jane. It's a good cover though, isn't it? It's a cool cover. Anything else? That's it. So I'll make another pitch. Buy this. Okay? See ya.